You got any jokes?
No.
Hello, friends. Welcome to User Friendly. My name is Roberto Hoyos, and I am the co-founder. Wait.
Really?
The sole founder of Throwaway.com. And I'm also the co-host of User Friendly. And I'm here with my friend.
I am the other sole co-founder host, Erfon and Elijah. I write for cultivac.com, and I also own a little cool indie brand called Might Tees, mighttees.com.
.net.
We actually own that domain, but we don't use it.
User Friendly is a weekly podcast where we talk about technology, our friends and family, things that we don't like, Kickstarters that suck, and Twitter.
And our friends and family that we don't like.
Yeah. This week is a very fun show because we asked you viewers to watch a movie, so we'll be getting
With us,
kind of. So we'll be getting into that in a bit. But first of all, how are you? It's been a while.
It's been a long time, and I feel like we haven't seen each other in an age. So you doing well? You look great.
I grew a beard.
You grew a beard since last time I saw you. Do you just keep that thing the same length at all times? Do you have like a little
beard trimmer?
Beard trimmer that you use?
I have a like clippers.
Yeah.
But I'll go from sometimes I really want a close shave, and I'll just shave it all off. Sometimes I want like a little stubble shave, like George
Really?
Michael.
You like that 5 o'clock shadow?
Yeah, it's like reminds me of Crockett.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you know from Miami Vice.
Oh gosh. I think I've seen 2 episodes of that terrible show.
Well,
terribly amazing show.
That's why I said George Michael. He's the one I think of.
Yeah, that's for sure.
When I think of a 5 o'clock shadow,
Yeah.
I think of the man here with the very tailored 5 o'clock shadow.
So what you're trying to tell me is that you're gay. I think I knew that, but I appreciate you coming out of the closet live on our show. Sorry for the background noise, by the way. It's kind of hot here today in Seattle, even though it's September, which is strange for us. So we got the doors open, but you can hear the cars kind of driving by, and you're just gonna have to deal.
I'm not sorry. So anyway,
you missed a perfect opportunity to deal with it.
Deal with it. So yeah, good week.
Fantastic week.
We have 2 big stories, and then I have a little OMG fact to show you.
Okay.
But we'll just throw that in at the end.
Okay. Well, let's just jump right into our movie review.
Great.
So we've been reviewing movies on Netflix streaming, and we've been.
Would you call it a review?
Yeah, I would.
I almost kind of call it like a review / watch. A watch view.
A rewatch view.
But anyway.
I mean, because we're watching it, and then we're telling people what we think.
True. Okay. Continue.
I mean, it's not like your standard review. I don't think, because it's just our opinions.
Yeah, we don't give like 5 stars.
Yeah, it's not like. Wait, no, that's taken. We have to go like this, and you have to point downwards. We give it 2 pinkies sideways, which means we kind of liked it. But yeah, I think it's cool because we're reviewing movies that are generally only available on Netflix streaming.
Yeah.
Other places too, obviously.
And they're kind of geeky, but sometimes they're just like stuff we want to watch.
Yeah, and they could be old, they could be new. And actually, one of our viewers suggested, who was it? Do you remember?
Maybe Josh Collins.
It might have been Josh Collins that suggested that we give you guys some heads up so that if you want to watch the movie, you can do that. So
it could have been rated J. Co.
It could have been. It's hard to tell. But it was a great idea. So thank you for suggesting that, whoever it was. So now we're going to give you guys a heads up before we watch a movie. So if you have Netflix, which you should because it's awesome.
And actually, Rated J. Co. got Netflix because we talk about it so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We should do an affiliate link. So we can make 25 cents every single time. So in any case, the movie that we watched is called...
Being Elmo.
Being Elmo.
A Puppeteer's Journey.
And it is about this guy who grows up wanting to be a puppeteer. He's a huge fan of Jim Henson, and he ends up taking over the Elmo character on Sesame Street, who at the time didn't really have a good voice, and the guy who was playing him didn't really like playing the character.
It was very unknown, small
character. Yeah. So this guy took over Elmo and created this whole Elmo persona that everybody knows and most people love.
Yeah, worldwide known. And the name of the guy is Kevin Clash.
He's got a great name, doesn't he? Kevin Clash. I wish it was spelled CEVINCLASH.
Double C.
Or CH, like Kevin. You're like, you're not really sure if it's...
Or Clash with a K.
Clash with a K. That would be even better.
So it takes you through the life of Kevin Clash, talking about how... They start off talking about how he's probably one of the most well-known people, but he can walk down the street and no one would know who he is.
Exactly.
Because Elmo's worldwide known. Elmo from Sesame Street, obviously one of the Muppets, and but it's a documentary that kind of talks about, it's him talking, being interviewed, talking about how he grew up, and when he grew up in Baltimore, like a poor child, had a few brothers and sisters, and one day. Sesame Street, which is a brand new show at the time when he's like 9 years old, comes on there and like completely captivates him, and he thinks it, and he then goes on to make one of his first puppets out of his dad's old coat, and like he starts developing these puppets and starts making them himself and sewing them himself, which is really cool because they actually have footage of a lot of this stuff. Mm-hmm. Then he starts performing in his town, of being a puppeteer in his town for kids and like handicapped kids. And it kind of goes through that, and then it goes on to like kind of more his professional life. But I don't know, what did you think about it?
Well, I've been meaning to watch this documentary for a long time, as you know, and I grew up on Sesame Street, as a lot of people my age did, as a lot of people still do, I'm sure. And it's interesting when he said, or when they said that he was like one of the most well-known people that you don't actually know. It's really true, right? Because, I mean, everybody knows who Elmo is, but then you see this guy, and he's a black guy, too, which is cool because most of the other guys doing the puppeteer work are all white, just a bunch of white dudes. But I think by the end of the documentary, I was like, this guy is an American treasure. Like his story is amazing, first of all.
Yeah.
But... this guy is doing what he's always wanted to do, and I think that's so cool when you see people that are like that, because I feel like so many people today go through their life not really knowing what they want to do, and they do whatever they're doing just because it makes them money or they kind of stumbled into it or whatever, but like they don't actually love it. And this guy absolutely loves what he does, and he's always loved what he does, and his love for what he does got him to where he is in life.
Yeah. And now he is not only the puppeteer for Elmo and the only puppeteer for Elmo. Like, it's not something that's... except for in foreign countries, they have a foreign version of Sesame Street.
They do?
Yeah.
They like Chinese Elmo?
Well, there's a French one. Remember they were talking about the French one?
Oh, I don't remember.
He was training the people in France to do the French version of Sesame Street. But he's also the producer of Sesame Street. And I think like one of the writers or something like that. So he's like actually a core function of Sesame Street right now.
Yeah, he obviously is very high up in Sesame Street.
Yeah.
But one of the other things I loved about the film was just like learning more about Jim Henson, the creator of all these Muppets, and he really was a master at what he did. I mean, he was totally innovative, as much as Steve Jobs was in his industry. You know, in this entertainment industry where he's creating all these Muppet characters, and it was just fascinating. I mean, to watch this guy in high school, actually he was even younger when he started making these puppets, right? And he goes through high school and his life being ridiculed and mocked by all these other people who were doing all these things, and they were telling him, you know, like, this is never going to work for you, this is never going to make you any money, like, this is not going to take you anywhere in life. And he didn't care. Like, he loved it so much that he stuck to it. And now... and
it made people happy.
It's made a world of people happy, and especially kids. And he uses Elmo to bring joy into so many people's lives. And it was really fascinating watching him. Like, he's like a very soft-spoken, gentle man. And then he puts Elmo on his hand, and his entire personality changes. And he becomes this Elmo character. Even when he's talking to people with his hand in Elmo.
Yeah.
And it's like they totally forget that he's behind Elmo, and they're fixated upon the character Elmo.
Oh, yeah.
That's obviously being driven by the guy right behind him, right?
Yeah.
But, like, Elmo comes to life.
Yeah, there's a really nice part at the end where there's a little probably like 5-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hi, Mr. Clash." Like, she knew who he was. But then as soon as he perks up Elmo, she like gives Elmo a big hug, and it's like Elmo's a person.
Yeah, right.
I was like, wow, that's really amazing. But yeah, I mean, they talk about, they show him now, like, or actually they go through a lot of things. He started doing TV when he was like still in high school. He was still like a high school senior.
Yes, he got started super young.
Yeah.
By 18, he was like doing work with Jim Henson.
Yeah, and they were like, not a lot of people, very, very few people like were making full-blown Muppets. Like, not just like a hand puppet. We're talking like full-blown Muppets with like their names and characters, and like they show this really cool part where he's sewing them and he's like a teenager. It's just awesome. They have footage of this. And then he's doing voices, like trying out different voices.
That part was magical.
Is that cool?
Yeah, so the part that you probably never think about is, so they create these puppets, and part of Kevin Clash's struggle is figuring out how to create these amazing Jim Henson level puppets, like,
because all he's doing is watching TV.
Yeah, and he doesn't know how these things are made, so he's trying to figure it out. And then once he makes a puppet, like, he sits there and he like looks at it. He looks at himself and he like practices voices until he finds a personality that matches the puppet. And it's a kind of magic. It really is amazing when he finds a voice and you're like, whoa, that is that character. It feels so natural.
And that's a live acting thing at that point, you know? Like,
yes.
That's what he said. I saw an interview of him, and they're like, "Do you ever, you can tell us basically, do you ever get bored of doing the Elmo character or the characters?" And he's like, "No, because it's like I'm performing all the time, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not just a stale thing.
It'd probably be like being a musician, and it's just very improvisational, right?
Yeah, exactly,
and you're like, I love what I do. Like, I love performing for people.
Yeah.
So it's not work for him.
And so he got started really early. He got on TV. Like, he was just an 18-year-old kid walks into a TV studio, and they think that he's like, wow, like, he's super impressive. Then he gets on another big show, which was around at the time, called Captain Kangaroo.
Right.
And then that catches the eye of the Jim Henson team and everything like that.
Yes, and it was interesting because, so he works for this news station, right? And he was discovered by one of the producers there. And the producer loves him, and he's just talking him up to everybody.
Yeah.
He ends up talking him up to this Captain Kangaroo guy. And the Captain Kangaroo guy, who was popular in his day, I never watched him, he's like, oh, we should set up an audition. And the producer was like, oh crap.
Yeah, I lost him.
So Kevin Clash goes to this audition, and before it's even over, the producer was like kicking himself. He's like, this is my fault. I never should have introduced these.
Yeah.
He's like, this is over. Like, we've lost him.
Yeah.
Because Captain Kangaroo is gonna hire him because he's amazing.
And that's like a national TV show.
And it's a national TV show that's gonna pay him all this money. And sure enough, he did. I mean, Captain Kangaroo wanted him and hired him on. I think more than anything else, when he puts this inanimate object on his hand, right? You're used to seeing Muppets with personality.
Right.
I remember this one scene in particular that was very endearing, where he was using Elmo, and he had figured out a way to make Elmo's eyes like look up and down.
Yeah.
And he has like this very these slight movements that give this life to the Muppets. And you see this inanimate object that's laying there lifeless that looks like a puppet, and he puts it on his hand, and his talent really lies in bringing this Muppet to life in a way that I think few people can, and he makes it look effortless, right? And he gives this character a life, which is just totally surreal and magical, and is something that he makes look like is just totally something that everyone can do, but I don't think very many people could do it at all.
And I think it all really stems from Jim Henson and the early Muppeteers, like Frank Oz and all those people that did like Bert and Ernie and Miss Piggy and all those characters that we know.
Yes.
Because I mean, Jim Henson was like the people, he started everything. He started the look of the Muppets. He started like what we know today as Kermit the Frog and everything like that.
Yeah.
But it's so great that somebody like Kevin Clash can come along as a kid and be so captivated and a fan of it that he can carry it on, you know, that it doesn't lose something like where it stemmed from, you know, like Jim Henson's no longer with us, but that kind of spirit can keep going because he understands it, you know. He's not just saying like, yeah, just put it on your hand and do that, you know.
Yeah.
It's a very it's a craft, and it's like something that he takes seriously, and it's like part of the characters are part of the people doing them, you know.
I think another piece that you just kind of touched on that I thought was amazing was, so here you have Kevin Clash. He's this kid making puppets for himself, right? And he's like, I don't understand how Jim Henson makes these life size puppets that are so realistic. And then he sees Jim Henson on a show.
Yeah.
And he sees the guy behind one of the puppets, and they actually introduce him on the show, and it's like the guy who makes puppets with Jim Henson.
Yeah, one of the builders.
One of the builders, right? Yeah. And his name was Kermit.
Yeah,
funny
Kermit
enough.
Love. Yeah.
Kermit Love.
Yeah.
And so Kevin Clash tells his mom, he's like, we need to get a hold of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So his mom, being so supportive throughout his entire life and his love for puppets, starts trying to get a hold of this Kermit Love guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Kermit Love responds in a way that I think you don't hear about a lot these days. He was like, this kid's into puppets. Like, he's like, we should meet.
Yeah, bring him down.
Bring him down. So he eventually, years later, because they were really poor, makes it to New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like this goosebump moment where it's like this kid who has he's already so good at what he does, and he's learned all this stuff on his own, meets this master, right? And he has all these high-level questions like, how do you do this? How do you make the eyes?
Mm-hmm.
And Kermit really takes him under his arm and is like, well, here's how we do the stitching, and here's how we make the eyes, and here's how we bring these puppets to life. And they're practicing together.
Yeah.
And it's like watching like a musician meet like Mozart, right? He has all these questions about how these things are done,
right,
about the nuances of his art form.
And he's so helpful, and he's just like treats him like he's known
his
whole
and
life.
He passes this lifetime of knowledge down to Kevin Clash. And then towards the end of the film, you see Kevin Clash doing the same thing with like these other kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it is amazing to watch this generational transference of knowledge about this really, kind of unknown art form, be poured into this next generation of puppeteers who are going to be the people that you see on Sesame Street.
Right, that teach your kids probably, right?
That may even teach your kids how to operate Kermit the Frog and build these puppets.
Or just normal life things, like 'cause that's what they talk about, like getting a haircut and like things that you just do in life, right?
Yeah.
And I think that I also was not expecting when I first watched it that Kevin Clash was also like somebody that made them, like sewed them, like,
me either, right?
Because, like, that's a big part of it too, being somebody that makes his own products and now is transitioning to people making my products. It gives you a whole new knowledge when you're that in depth with having to make everything from scratch, going to the store, buying the fabric.
And also, it's like wow, my fabrics don't look like yours. Yeah. Where do you get your fabrics from?
Exactly.
Right?
And that's not a typical question. I'm sure most of those, maybe not, but I would think that most of the famous people that operated the Muppets weren't hands-on sewing people. I would think, because they actually have builders. That's a separate job, right? But Kevin Clash, like from the ground up, right? Like, was sewing.
And he still, I think he makes all his own puppets.
Yeah, he does do some of it, I think, but they were also showing like some other people making them too. They have this amazing, what do you call it? Like workshop that has like everything.
Dude, I want to work there. Yeah. They
have like furs.
What an amazingly creative place.
Oh yeah. They have like drawers where you can pull it out, and they have like all the different eyes with eyelids, no eyelids, eyelashes, noses, all sorts of stuff, and that's just all like up for grabs to create these characters out of it.
It kind of made me want to be a puppeteer, to be honest.
Dude, I've always loved puppets, but I never really knew much of the reason why. I think that kind of like performance in your face.
Yeah.
Like, I think that there's something about it that obviously is something that the whole human species likes.
Yeah, totally. Because parents love Muppets. Kids love Muppets, and you could tell he was really inspired by Disney and that whole magic that Disney creates. That brings them in so much money. Is like that childhood feeling that you get. I don't know how to describe it really, but that feeling that you get when you go to Disneyland or you see something that reminds you of your childhood.
Yeah.
And there's like a really like innocent love and kind of like wonder attached to it,
right,
where it's like magical things are still possible and like things that you remember when you were a kid, like you didn't realize those things were fake or whatever. It's like he creates that world every day as a job.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want to be behind the puppet, but it's really kind of special to be in front of it, especially when you're watching the documentary.
Oh yeah, and they show that it's not easy. They show him kind kind of training this woman to do a different puppet in France, and he's like, when you're talking to somebody, it has to be like how when you're conversing with somebody, and they're talking to you, and you go, oh yeah, and you nod your head. You're not just doing like this, you know?
Yeah.
That's what like, so you can't just do that with the puppet. You have to be like, you know, and even when it's still, you should still feel like it's alive. So it should still be kind of moving around.
Right.
Curious and looking around. It's like that kind of stuff you don't think about.
Yeah, and it's very much like how a kid behaves.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like they're just always moving, always curious. Needless to say, we both obviously really liked it.
Yeah, I saw it a lot of times actually, and I tweeted it. I kept tweeting it over and over because I really wanted everyone to see it, but I'm like, wait, have you seen it? Because we should talk about it sometime.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we finally did because we were kind of trying to figure out what other documentaries we could view. So if you want to watch it, it's on Netflix streaming. Definitely check it out.
It's called Being Elmo.
It's called Being Elmo. I would do it sooner rather than later because you know the thing with Netflix is like one day movie's there, the next day it's gone. Although this one has been there a while.
Yeah, and it's actually it was making a sort of a tour with in theaters for a little while too.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, and I think there was some special on about it. So it's actually getting a lot of press. You can follow them on or like them on Facebook, and you'll see a lot of kind of like new stuff about it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
They're gonna make a Being Elmo Part 2.
Being Grover.
Being Grover. The exact same story. They just put Grover in there. Anyway, check it out. Great documentary. Mm-hmm. And you know how much we love to rant and rave about things that we like.
Yes.
We also like to rant and rave about things that we don't like.
Well,
and you introduced me to something that I have a feeling I'm not going to like very much.
Well, yeah, and I think that it deserves a user-friendly rundown. But so we were talking about Apple.
We should call this segment "Oh No, You Didn't." That should be its new name. We're like, you made this? Oh no, you didn't.
We were talking about Apple last week, Erfon. This week we're going to talk about Pear.
That's right. Let's talk about Pear.
You get that at home? You get it? This is an app.
P-A-I-R.
Yeah. It's my little fruit joke.
Not to be confused with P-E-A-R.
Alrighty, so this app is for the iPhone and Google Android, and this app is called Pear, and it's a social network for couples.
Uh-huh.
So
what does that mean?
It means that only you and your significant other are the ones that use it together.
Uh-huh.
And you see each other's stream of stuff, just the two of you. And
then you find other couple friends and stuff?
No, just the two of you.
Wait, so it's just a social network between you and your significant other? Is it? Don't we already have this? Isn't it called iMessage?
Okay. And anyway, so you can send texts, you can share videos, you can sketch together, it says. And one of my favorite features, but before I get into that, what do you think so far?
Wow. Well, I'll tell you, understanding the concept now, my opinion has just drastically changed.
Uh-huh.
So I thought this was a social network. You know, like you have those weird friends who share a Facebook account.
Oh yeah.
And dude, you gotta load that back up though. Hold on.
Oh, what?
I think we need to point out. You were astute earlier, and you noticed an interesting observation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The fact that.
Hold on. Okay, yeah, you can talk.
So first of all, notice the little heart above the pear. That's cute. But the fact that one of these hands is a male and the other is a female hand. The worst photo I have ever seen in my life. And they're both gently holding the iPhone together because they love each other so much.
Oh my God.
So bad. Okay, so at first I thought you were going to tell me that this is one of those weird, we share a social network account because we're just that in love.
Oh no.
And we're going to use it together.
Mm-hmm.
And get other couple friends together.
Yeah.
So now I'm a little confused because if this is just for sharing stuff between you and your partner, it's like, well, that's what iMessage is for, or texting, right? You're sharing things between you and your partner. Although I guess that they're gonna let you sketch and stuff.
And you can have a to-do list, and you can have scheduled things together. So basically, if you have
This is actually sounding more interesting to me by the minute now.
Oh God! To me, all it is I have a psychopath girlfriend that wants to know everything I'm doing all the time, every update, but only wants to go to her.
Yeah.
Or the other way around, like a boyfriend that just wants to know, put every tab on his girl like all the time. Right. This is the social network app for clingy couples. That's what this is. And I was like, dude, like I text my girl enough. Like I don't need to have something where it's like all the time, video conferencing in here. I guess, and
I think this would be cool as like a collaboration tool, like if you're trying to keep in contact with somebody, you could share all that stuff. Like that's actually kind of cool. You could use it in that regard.
But then it's just iMessage.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's other things that you can do that iMessage can't do, which I don't understand yet just by looking at that picture. But I'll tell you what it's going to be used for is like
nothing.
High school kids. High school kids are going to use it, I think. Like, they're super lovey-dovey. They're like, hey, send me a picture of your boobs through Pair.
Oh, yeah.
That's the kind of perv stuff that's going to go down on Pair.
Yeah, you're right.
It's going to be these, like, super
it's going to be like
young,
a status thing. Like, oh, did you get her to be on Pair with you?
Dude, she's with me on Pair.
Yeah.
And I saw her boobs. Because, like, that's who's going to use it. Are, like, super obsessed, like, youths, and they're going to be, like, trying to get, like, their boyfriends and girlfriends to use it with them. Because no couple that's been together longer than 2 years is going to use that.
No.
Because no couple who's been together longer than 2 years is going to want to be in that much contact with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I talk to you enough as is.
Exactly.
I don't need to have this digital link with you at all times.
And, dude, another big thing I've always hated about when you're in a relationship and you text message, if they're a very text messagey girl, everything gets misconstrued through text messages.
Yes,
right?
Especially in a relationship that's new. That's very true. Yeah.
And if you are maybe like not having a good day, then they think you're mad at them and all this shit. It's like I don't want a heightened level of that. You know?
And then she sends you a sketch of you looking angry, and you're like, "What is this thing?" And then the video pops up, and it's like she's asking you why you're mad, and then you get a text message that asks you if you got the video and sketch.
And then exactly. Like, how come you're not answering Pair?
You haven't answered my Pair sketch yet.
Okay, but then here's the ultimate kicker, and I believe I've cued it perfectly.
Okay, good job.
This is the thumb kiss feature, Erfon.
This already is making me mad.
Like thumb kiss, and how does that one work?
So on thumb kiss, you can place your finger on the screen, and then when your partner touches that same location on the screen, your phone will vibrate.
Okay, in case you didn't hear that, thumb kiss is a feature where you put your finger on the screen of the iPhone, and then when your partner does the same place on their iPhone, it will vibrate. Let me sum this up real quick. My friend said that his girlfriend and her boyfriend were trying this out, and she didn't know it, but my friend did a thumb kiss to her, like the non-boyfriend, and he's like, yeah, I basically raped her.
She got thumb raped. That sounds 100% pointless to me. Maybe I'm just not a romantic. Maybe I'm not as romantic as I thought I was, but I would absolutely not want to do that with anyone.
Dude, right? I think that you're right. Maybe it hits like a youth market that thinks that that's cute or something.
Here's what's going to happen. You're going to be watching a movie with your friends, and your phone's going to start beeping, and you're going to be like, crap. They're going to be like, what? You're like, my girlfriend wants a thumb kiss again. They're going to be like, what is that? And you're like, I got to freaking put my thumb on my phone until it starts vibrating so that she knows we're touching the same spot. Silence. Silence as they look at you in awe that your girlfriend would actually want to do that to you. More than one time, ever.
I think, I heard this app is not actually free. You have to trade in your hetero card for this one.
or if you're in a relationship, you have to
trade
release the use of your testicles. You have to send them a Instagram of your balls in a jar.
Of your pair, if you will.
Of your pair. Yeah, right. Grow a pair. And then give it to us. Because you'll never need it again.
I mean, dude, speaking from a dude, fuck no. Can you imagine
This seems like the guy's worst nightmare app.
Yeah. And I think that I can't really. I guess psycho dudes out there that like to hold down their chick would do it. Because I've met guys like that, and I think they're pathetic.
I consider myself one of those dudes.
Yeah.
I don't like it when my lady talks to another guy or looks at him or thinks about him, and I can tell. She gets disciplined. Don't worry. I'm like, you've been thinking about another guy? I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell.
What's
don't lie to me.
Wandering eye over
there. Yeah. Look straight down. Look straight down.
I like my women very docile.
Yeah.
And Japanese. Or at least act like it. So anyway, I thought that was.
You know the sad part about this is it's got 4.6 thousand Facebook likes, and it probably has 20 million in funding.
Yeah.
And here we are doing something of value. And we don't have $12 million worth of funding.
One of our old friends who enjoys a glass of skim milk now and then is an investor.
Is he? Damn it! This is a fantastic app. I've been using this with my mother.
Dude, I can't imagine.
She loves it.
I honestly cannot imagine a function for this. I just Googled it and it said maybe you're in a long distance relationship. It's like, no. Why would you just call the girl or like text her?
I have an app that works great for long distance relationships. It's called Phone.
Yeah.
It comes pre-installed on your iPhone. You press a button, and then you press another button, and you can hear your loved one's voice on your phone. It's amazing!
See, I think this kind of alludes to a bigger problem. Is like, we have just too much constant contact with a lot of people, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, back in the day, like, I think my grandma and grandpa used to communicate through letters, like when one was here and one was over in Peru.
Yeah, right.
You know, and that was good. Like, I think that I mean, if you don't trust your significant other, maybe, you know, and you want to constantly talk to them.
As you shouldn't. Because she's probably thinking about another guy.
But, like, really, do you really need to, like, every day I need to text you or something? Every day I need to whatever.
It's an immature thing to do.
Yeah.
I think. Like, no offense if you do it. It's like, it's immature in love, and I think it's immature, like, just like as far as your age goes, because like once you get a little older, like, you don't need to be in constant contact.
Yeah, because you realize that person, maybe you're in love and you guys love each other.
And that's enough.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need to talk to you every 10 minutes and tell you that you're my schmoopy.
Dude, I remember my friend told me that his friend, whenever his girlfriend texted him, she said that you have to text me back within the next minute. Like, she was that, like, psycho that she had to get a text back in a significant amount of time. Yes, please bring it up. Because, what do you call it? Otherwise, he was, like, you know, not listening to her or, like, not paying attention to her or this girl, if I was your girlfriend.
I need to make one of these.
Oh, dude, make one right now about Pear.
Add your own caption.
Please, about Pear. Why aren't you answering my Pear?
Missing plugin. Oh, it's because of freaking Safari.
Oh, it's because you're on Safari.
Hold on, there we
go. Is that the one that was already in there?
Wait. There we go. When you told me about Pear, that's the very first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah. Oy. Well, Erfon, any last thoughts?
I think you and I should use Pear together.
That's actually a great idea. Thumb kiss me.
That's actually the best use I can think about it. Yeah, so we can thumb kiss.
I'll just leave it on my lap.
I touch it with my wiener.
Alrighty. Well,
I think that's all we got for this show.
I think so. I have one
tiny
little thing, only because it popped into my head, and I was like, I don't think Erfon knows this.
Probably not. I don't know most things.
But you're two things in my world. Mm-hmm. You're a big Apple fan.
That I am, yeah.
And you're a big U2 fan.
Oh, actually I am, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
serious.
Me too.
I'm
yeah.
not being funny.
I know, and I'm being serious too.
Okay.
I'm a huge YouTube fan.
So, Erfon, maybe you did it or you didn't know this, and let me get my camera out real quick.
All right.
Did you know that in the iPod app on the iPhone, that this icon, the artist icon, is actually modeled after Bono?
What is? Oh, I did know that actually.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yes, I did, because that goes back to the original iPod, right?
It does,
did you say that?
Mm-hmm.
And remember they used to have like
not the original iPod, but it goes back to the first video and YouTube iPod. Yeah.
Dude, I
love
love Bono. Yeah.
So I remember seeing this a long time ago, and I was like, oh, whoa, they're gonna make that the main artist icon. That's totally Bono from that old Apple commercial. And it popped into my head the other day, and I'm like, well, maybe Erfon doesn't know that, so I wanted to tell you.
No, I strangely, I think I actually noticed that when they changed the app, because I was like, because that was such an iconic image from the iPod, right? That one of him singing into the mic, I was like, man.
Yeah, it was when they introduced the U2 iPod and the photo iPod actually was what
How come I can't see your camera?
Because it's all that dirt's trapped in there. Remember I keep telling you?
It's like totally whited out.
I know. That's why all my Instagrams look like utter shit.
Wow, that's crazy. That's really crazy, because mine never gets dirty.
Is it like clear?
It's totally clear.
What is
that must have been a design defect.
Yeah, and they actually took off the backplate to fix it, but anyway.
Yeah. Oh, weird. Mine never gets anything in it.
So, yeah, I thought that was a kind of funny thing. And I saw it on OMG Facts. Actually, really
cool.
I didn't see it on OMG Facts. I knew about it from the beginning, but I found it on OMG Facts to confirm what I already knew.
I'm glad that you confirmed what you had an inkling that you already knew that you needed to confirm.
But anyway.
Cool, that's it.
Cool.
If you want to pair with me, you can tweet me. I'm at Erfon on Twitter. I would love to pair with you.
Yeah.
And you can pair with Roberto, too.
Form an orderly queue. I am at Roberto Hoyos, RobertoHoyos. And you can subscribe to User Friendly on iTunes.
Yes, you should do that.
And you can get
never miss an episode.
All the episodes right when they come. And that's just User Friendly on iTunes.
Yep.
And also, you can watch us on YouTube. YouTube.com/userfriendlyshow. And I would suggest like us on Facebook if you haven't. We have a few hundred viewers, and I know not all of you like us on Facebook.
That's true.
It's a really good way to just know what's going on. And we kind of interact with people on there.
That we do.
And you would have known that we are doing a movie this week.
Yes, that's true. So you'll know when we are going to be doing a movie, and you'll be able to watch that movie before we review it, so you could actually know what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Isn't that great? How much do you hate watching movie reviews of movies that you've never seen?
Plus, we're the kings of spoilers, so I mean, you might as well watch it.
Yeah.
But anyway, this has been User Friendly episode 36.
4.
No.
7.
I'm gonna
40. We're on 40.
No.
I think we're on.
I bet you it's 36.
Oh, dude, that doesn't sound right at
episode
all.
36.
Wow, good call.
But until next time, we will see you on the flip side.
The other side of the flip.